So you let that one slide for 2 weeks.
Yes.
Mr. Skousen, before you leave this point, I think it's only fair to you, Deputy Chief. When I asked the CFO about this invoice and why it was shared with Sergeant Nkosi, he said he did not breach confidentiality because he did not share it with Sergeant Nkosi. We must ask you, because it was you who shared this invoice with Sergeant Nkosi. So can you just tell us why you considered it appropriate to share Gubis's invoice with Sergeant Nkosi?
Commissioner, I did not consider it appropriate, as I indicated that CFO made Sergeant Nkosi his extension. He was communicating with me through Sergeant Nkosi, and I was providing feedback to the CFO through Sergeant Nkosi.
So why did you have to share the invoice? You could have just provided the feedback without sharing the invoice.
I did not share it with Sergeant Nkosi, I was sharing it with the CFO.
But you did send it to Sergeant Nkosi as per chat 4.
Correct, Commissioner. And I believe if there's a buyer and a seller, I'm selling a car, I contract someone to negotiate for me the price with the buyer. I've contracted the services of that person, and that's exactly what transpired in this.
And you say that person is Sergeant Nkosi?
He made Sergeant Nkosi his extension.
But why did you not say no? Why did you not say invoice matters are matters between the City of Tshwane and service providers? So I will not go through Sergeant Nkosi because I consider it inappropriate.
The CFO came here, Commissioner, and said for him it was convenient, it worked for him.
I understand that for him. I'm talking about you. Why did you not say, I'm not doing business that way because these are City of Tshwane matters? I cannot share with an outsider City of Tshwane issues.
As I'm saying, Commissioner, I still stand by saying I was sharing it with the CFO, and he contracted Sergeant Nkosi on this matter.
Okay, I will leave it there. Thank you.
Now, we see at chat number 2 that Sergeant Nkosi forwards a screenshot back from the, of your call that he has sent to the CFO, and asks you, copy General, and you say, thank you, my brother, we will wait to hear from him. We'll wait to hear from the CFO. Then there is a series of chats going up to 8:19, chat 4 is at 8:19. And if we go to page 155, we see that at 8:25, file 3, foot of 155, file 3. Do you have it?
Are you there, Deputy Chief?
Yes.
And the CFO says, let's let General meet him, then he will brief us of the outcomes of the discussion when we meet later in Mpoetu. So I understand that you did then have your meeting with Gubis without the CFO.
Correct.
And who did you meet from Gubis?
It was Mr. Madlanga and Mr. Andrew something.
Do you know what Mr. Andrew's surname is?
Let me check. I think it's in the email. See, I'm not sure what is his surname. Is it Kwadi or something like that? Mr. Andrew Kwadi.
How do you spell that?
Kwadi.
And what was discussed at that meeting?
It was the issue of the outstanding invoice that was discussed.
And what did you tell them?
I explained to them, since this invoice relates to the 23-24 financial year, it was never accrued accordingly at the end of financial year. There should be a post-facto report which must be generated by the section.
And who is the section?
APSS.
That's Director Malachi's section.
Correct.
So did you tell them to go to Director Malachi to get a report generated?
I also did so with them.
And was that all that you told them?
Correct.
Let's go to 441. When you report on that meeting to the CFO through Sergeant Nkosi. And you say, afternoon, Captain, it's chat number 7. I had a meeting with Kane and those guys today, as I indicated. I've told them that they should go back where they've started, Kumfuetu. I said to them, he is the only gateway. They can't go with a back door. I will only be able to assist if I get an indication from Kumfuetu. Protocol must be observed at all cost. Sergeant Nkosi responds, nice one, General. Let me inform Kumfuetu. And then he sends you a screenshot of a conversation that he has forwarded. Sorry, if you go to page 178, you see that he forwards his screenshot of his conversation with you to the CFO. That's file 3, page 178. You see it?
Yes.
And the CFO's response is, thanks, my bra. This is the way, much appreciated. Now, you've just told us that what you told Gubis was that to get payment to the previous year's invoice, they need to get a report issued by the department, and that the person to speak to in that regard was Director Malachi.
Yes.
Do you stand by that?
I did so, and they also indicated, can they come to me on future payments? That's when I said no, they must via through. The same way they've done, they can't cut bridges, now come to me direct.
Sorry, can they come to you in respect of future payments?
That's what they said.
These are payments in the 25-26 financial year.
Yes.
They wanted to come to you for future payments, and you said, no, you must go to the CFO.
Where they've started.
But why would it be appropriate for them to go to the CFO?
I told them the process that they should work through the APSS. Director Malachi, he'll take them through to finance for processing and payment, but they prefer to say I should be on board, to work with them, and I refused.
But why would the issue, or why would this even be an issue in relation to future payments? Future payments for 25, 26. By this stage, there will be purchase orders, so invoices will come to your department and with purchase orders, and your department will authorize payment. Why would there be any need to go to the CFO for future payments?
As I explained to them what is the process and so forth, and what was my intervention all about, and it ended there. The process I've outlined to them to say we have a process that should be followed accordingly, and I can't be able to they communicate with me either direct on these processes of payments and so forth.
Yes, but you've told them to communicate directly with the CFO.
I said if they have challenges, they can go back to the CFO.
But why would that be appropriate? The chain is your invoice is issued against a purchase order. After the work is done, and you have invoiced, Director Malachi's department confirms that the work is done and sends it to your department for payment. That's the process. It should end there, should it not?
Correct.
So if your department hasn't authorized payment, one of two things has happened. Either Director Malachi hasn't sent you an invoice,
Correct.
or Director Malachi has said to you this work wasn't done.
Correct.
Why would it be appropriate to speak to the CFO in either of those cases?
They wanted to draw me on board in terms of communicating with them on future payments and so forth, and of which I said I can't be part. There's a process that I've outlined, like the question of the post-facto payment report. There's a process outlined, and they should follow it. I'll be able to get indication from the Director of Finance if there are outstanding payments and invoices, and if processes have been fully complied with, definitely in that instance I'll be able to intervene, as I usually intervene in various cases. I did not want to deal with them as an entity apart from the entire service providers.
But why are you telling them in the case of payments going forward they must speak to the CFO? And why is the CFO thanking you for telling them to go to him for payments in the future?
Much as I indicated, that's where they've started in this process of, this payment. And I helped because I intervened as the CFO requested, and also there were email coming from, the Department of Outstanding Payment from the Chief's office and so forth. And I believe that I've done my part. I don't have any arrangement now to either meet with service providers or discuss with them outside these normal processes.
Your message says they must go back to the CFO, so you're not talking about future invoices. Yeah. Read your message. You say, I had a meeting with Kane today. I have told them that they should go back
Yes.
where they have started going forward to. So you're not talking about future invoices
Yes,
if
there
there
were
are
two
issues. And you're not talking about the old invoice, because you say you have explained to them already what the
I've
process
explained.
is. I said to them, he is the only gateway. So you're directing them straight to the CFO. You have, right, to solve the problem. They can't go with a back door. I will only be able to assist if I get an indication from going forward too. So this is not about future invoices, because there are no problems in the future yet.
Yes.
You say you started at the CFO, go back there. So you're talking about something historical here.
It's the-
Yes, so it can be, it cannot be correct what you're telling us, that you are now talking to them about if there are future problems. This is how it will work.
There were two aspects, Commissioner. The outstanding payment, I explained to them, and they did not find joy going to Malachi. That was the first thing, to say in future, if they experience challenges, should they come direct to me in this regard. So it was one, a post-factor report that they said they won't get joy from Malachi, then they want to address it with me. I said, I can't. They'll address it with Malachi, or if they feel the CFO will deal with that, they'll have to go back to him.
So you're saying, after you told them the procedure and a report, which you know is your internal processes, that's
Yes.
how it must be.
Yes.
You still said to them, go back to the CFO.
They insist maybe there should be a way to resolve it.
No, you told them, I'm asking you, please try to answer my question. You explained to them how the process works according to you.
Yes.
And you know that's how it works. There's no shortcut to it.
Correct.
You still said to them, go back to the CFO and I will assist you if I get an indication from him.
That's what
Are
I did.
you saying that's what you were directing? So it's no longer about future invoices. I think you need to just reflect a bit on what your evidence is, in fact.
Yes.
Because when you spoke to Mr. Chaskalson earlier, he said it's about future invoices. Now we are back at the old invoice.
Yes, Commissioner, I was clarifying the old invoice also and future working arrangement that they wanted to establish.
With future working arrangements, you were saying to them, you must go to the CFO. Because
Future-
he's the gateway. Remember, he's the gateway. You've used those words. You've said in your message, he's the only gateway. So you are saying in future, when you have problems, go to the CFO.
No,
You're saying if you want payment for this invoice, go to the CFO. Because he's a gateway, remember?
that's what they believe.
No,
to say.
I'm asking you. I'm not asking you what they believed. I'm asking you what were you advising them. You record here what you said, and we are reading here. I'm not putting in words into your WhatsApp message. I'm reading the words that you used and what you conveyed. You said, I said to them, he is the only gateway. They must go back where they started going forward to. I said to them, he is the only gateway. They can't go with a back door. I will only be able to assist if I get an indication from going forward to. Now, in your explanation, you say it was about the old invoice, and then you also say it was about future problems. So
Yes.
I'm asking you this question. You were saying to them, the problem with the old invoice, they must go to the CFO because he is the gateway for payment of that invoice, even after you explained the process to them.
It's about the working relationship they want to establish with me in terms of ensuring that I assist them when they
You're
have
not,
challenges.
here what you're saying is you will hear from him, from the CFO, right? So I'm asking you, according to you, the CFO is the gateway for payment of the old invoice, and he will tell you what to do. Is that what you were conveying?
No.
Okay? Future invoices, if there are problems in the future, the CFO is the gateway, because that's what you're saying here. He's the gateway, and you will deal with them depending on what he tells you. Is that what you're conveying when you read this message with the explanation that you're now giving to us?
Yes, what I was conveying to them to say, because they want to establish a direct working relationship with me, I said, no, I can't. They have started with the CFO, and they must go to him.
Okay. Your explanation doesn't make sense. Mr. Cheskalson?
You see, if this meeting was really about invoices, it's difficult to make sense of your communications with the CFO. Because as we've seen in your exchange with Commissioner Baloy, telling them to use the CFO as a gateway for the one single outstanding old invoice doesn't make sense. You've explained to them the procedure. If they follow that procedure, and if Director Malachi makes the appropriate motivation, they will be paid. There's no need to go to the CFO. You accept that?
Through SC, but as I indicated, they wanted to build a relationship with me, of which I was not comfortable with it, working with them.
Well, if that's not relating to the old invoice, that's relating to future invoices. You're nodding your head. Is that a yes?
Also.
Now, how would it be appropriate to tell them in relation to future invoices, you must go to the CFO? That's not relating to procedure, that's not following procedure at all, is it?
I did explain to them, SC, and if people feel no, it will be easier if we come through to you while you tell them this, the process in terms of payment. It's a clear process that is clearly defined. Like any other service providers, they follow that processes. There's Priscilla there who works at accounts payable. There's Jethro whom they could engage with. So I find it strange if I must be, within their communication.
No, I agree with you that it would be very strange for you to be in the line of communication, but it would be even stranger for the CFO to be in the line of communication, and that's what you suggest to them.
Remember, I know this matter because of the CFO, so it will only be ideal for me to refer them back. Then it will be up to the CFO, how does he deal with it?
Why